Exclamation everybody, and welcome to Interstellar Rift. If you happen to look on my channel, you know that I've already played this game in a live stream, but that was a research stream. I was trying to figure out how the game works and various other things. That was literally like the first time I had played the game. I was just trying to figure out based on the stuff that I had read and the videos that I had watched. And I ran into some problems, but I've been doing some more stuff off camera, and I wanted to do a proper side quest video on it, where I run you through everything that I know so far about the game and what I like and what I'm excited about for this. So, this is a game by a company called Split Pixel. It is in Steam Early Access right now. It's $15 US, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. It's a little bit pricey for what is here right now, but I'll explain all that. This is still a very early alpha. I believe this is like 0.3 or something like that, alpha 30 or whatever. And I'm gonna jump right into the game here. This is basically, if you've seen Space Engineers, this is very similar to Space Engineers. It's also similar in many ways to Pulsar Lost Colony, which is another indie alpha game that I haven't done any videos on yet. And it's basically a sandbox game, much in the realm of the Minecrafts and the Terrarias and things of that nature. Only 3D here. So first things first, let's go jump into a game now. It is a multiplayer thing, and it does have solo. So these are all the multiplayer servers that are out there right now. It's got this nice little server browser. I believe some of these are like ISR server, I think, and the Split Polygon test server. I believe these are the devs test servers right here. So you can go on there and play around. And these are other servers that people have made public. You can say host game, and you'll end up on this list here. I am not going to do multiplayer though right now, because it's kind of it's hard enough to do single player right now, because the frame rate is a little bit low right now, because obviously it's not optimized yet. So I'm going to go with the solo game. You see here's a couple tests I've done here. There is an option of creative mode. I'm going to do one without creative mode for a minute, and then I'll tell you what's up with creative mode a little bit later. But let's do just the side quests galaxy here, and we'll create a new galaxy. And this will drop me right into the midst of the game, and I'll explain what is going on and where I'm at and how things work here. I wanted to take all that long live stream that I did. I sort of want to condense it down into something that's a little bit more palatable for those of us on the run. So here I am. I've been beamed down into the starting station here. Now the starting station is not the same as the mining station that I'm going to beam to, but I want to just take you a look around here. As you can see, it's all first person. The nice thing about this, let's see if I can find one here somewhere. It won't take me long to find one once I look for one, but you can see we've got a nice little view of the stars here. This starter station is over by is closer to the sun, closer to this system star than the mining station is, the star station here. I can open this door and come look in here. You can see here's the shipbuilding area, and then we got a nice view out the window here. But we can't do much here yet. If I was in creative mode, I could just jump right into the build menu here and start building stuff. But since we're not in that, since we're in the semi-survival thing, what I need to do is go find my way over to the mining station. Now there are teleporters all around here. Teleporters are your main means of transportation between points. So this one here, these are short-range teleporters. They're not going to get me to the mining station, I don't think, because it's a little bit too far away. This is a long-range teleporter. It takes a lot more energy, and it also sends me much further along. And as we can see here on the computer screen, we're on the star station right now. The mining station is about 14,000 energy is what it's going to take, because it's pretty far away. It's not the distance per se, but it's how much power it's going to take. The nice thing about this is it's all seamless. Like right now, I can click on all this stuff in the view here, and our our frame rate tanked for just a second there. And I can go and just click on things, and I can then click out here and do whatever I want. I'm not locked in by any stretch of the imagination. You can see here's all the different teleporters I can select. I want to beam us onto the main pad in the arrival bay there. So I've selected that one. And we'll hit the teleport button, and it won't do anything. Let's try that again. I want to do this one. Maybe it won't let me do that one. Let me just try the other one. There we go. And I got 3 seconds to get onto the pad here. And Willis shall beam over to the mining station. This will take just a moment here. There we go. Again, like I said, frame rate is going to be kind of an issue here. It says here that I'm getting about 40 frames per second. You guys are getting just about 30 at times, but it's dropping down to 25 and even less. So my apologies on that. Again, it's still early alpha, so nothing has been optimized yet. This is bare metal. As bare metal as you can get. You can see now we're at the mining station. We are tumbling around in space. And this is the arrival deck for the mining station. You can see get a nice little view out there of all the asteroids. And if I walk through this, and I might as well run while I'm here. If I walk through this corridor here, we're in the main area here. And this sun, it's kind of like showing off all the different things that you can actually build. Like all the stuff that you see here is, for the most part, stuff that you can build. There are some exceptions. So if I look in here, for instance, we've got a nice little sliding glass door. We've got steps down to the lower deck, which I've never actually been down in here. I don't know. Is this the engineering deck? Oh yeah, it is the engineering deck. Oh nice. I've been looking for this. I've been looking all over the place for this. As you can see, it's got tons and tons of energy to spare. That said, I did have a problem on one. Oh look, this is what is this? That's our energy cells. I think this is an admin thing that you can put in that's got unlimited quantum energy or something like that. It's not something you can do yourself. You can't put it in yourself, I don't think. I think that's just something that is locked down right now. But I did run into a problem at one point where there was not. I was mining a lot of resources, and I did end up running low enough on the energy that I couldn't teleport off the station. So we need to make sure that I don't run into that situation again. There's also a nice little ship map here that you can zoom around in and see all the various things. We can go up a floor, so on and so forth. You can see where everything's at. It's very cool. And this is our menu back here. And then ship stats, which should tell me how much power there is. So there's life support in here. That's good. There are no hydrogen reserves, which is not so good, but it's in this particular case, I think you get it's generating power from something else. As you can see, here's our power grid. And I don't want to hit menu. I wanted to go back to that one. But anyway, there we go. And I can retrieve hydrogen out of all those little storage tanks there. That will come into useful later, as I will demonstrate as we do things here. But let's go and discuss this area a little bit more. I will be running back and forth into this area because this is a vault right here. Now, as far as I know, you can't actually make ships with vaults yet. At least I didn't see any in there. I think this is still locked down to admins. So the vault is where you just store all of your stuff. It's kind of like an ender chest in Minecraft, where every player gets their own vault. You can all use any of these vaults, but you only see your resources, I think, that you have actually put in there yourself. And you can only retrieve the resources that you've put in there yourself. And that becomes useful because you'll want to all the things that when you want to build ships and whatnot, you have to put all the refined resources in here, and then those refined resources will be used to build the ship. And I'll explain that as we go here. We'll go into this area, and this is the mining section of the station. We've got a cargo teleporter here. This is really cool. I'll show this off a little bit later. And then we've got two mining sections here, and I believe there's two more mining sections on the other side. I think this is a mirror image, both this room and the room on the other side of the main entrance there. And what I want to do is start getting some mining going here. So You can see I've got a list of all the asteroids that are floating around the station right now. And this is telling me how much iron I can get out of it and how much copper I can get out of it. And if I want to build the starter ship that they give you, I need lots of iron and lots of copper. So I want to grab one of these guys and I'll just say mine. You can see it beams the asteroid aboard and it will begin mining it and taking it apart, and it will bring those resources once it's got enough out of there. It'll package them up. As you can see here, that's copper because it's got, I can tell by the outside of it, by the color there. And it's just going to stack these up on here for me until that asteroid is done. That one is iron. All right. And then over here I shall go. And I also need some, I'm going to need more iron and copper obviously, but I also need some water. And this asteroid here, actually this asteroid has some more water on it. I'm going to grab that and I'm going to hit mine. That's the blue numbers of the water. I'm going to let him mine that out for a little bit because I will need that to get the hydrogen fuel as well as oxygen for the oxygen, you know, for the life support system when that becomes necessary. So this guy, let me send this guy off to do even more mining here because I need a lot more copper. In the meantime, I'm going to grab all these. And we had a little jump in the frame right there, but I've got them now. As you can see, grab all those. There is it is still a little bit buggy in cases. For instance, over here with the water, for whatever reason, these cases can hold 10,000, as you can see under the E pickup there. These can hold 10,000 units, but for some reason it's only filling them up to 99.99. So it becomes a little bit unwieldy because as you pick them up, right, those become active in your inventory, as you can see there. And then when I go and click on another one, it wants to immediately combine it, which means it's going to do that. It's going to grab the one off of that and then bring it all the way back again. So it can get a little bit tedious sometimes when it's doing that. But I understand the need for what they have there because it just keeps it does keep it very simple when you have just one key to rule them all. And I don't think I have any more. No, I don't have any more inventory space, so I'll let this also go and mine some more because I need all the stuff I can get, as you'll see in a moment. But now we will travel over to the refinery, and if you're looking at me going, how do you know all these rooms? They all look very the same, very much the same. I would say that yes, I agree with you entirely. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. I really feel like there should be signs above the doors and whatnot. But over here is our refinery. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit 1 here. You do use the mouse wheel to select stuff, but it is a little bit... It doesn't work quite so well when you want to select the very first thing in the list there. I've been having problems with it recently, and actually been having problems with it since I've been using the game. So that's why I'm just saying... I always just hit 1 first, and then once you hit 1, everything shifts over in your inventory, and you can just keep hitting E here to drop stuff off. Now I've separated these two because I want to. It's a little bit easier to manage. If I come up here, you can see I can make hydrogen and I can make oxygen, and you can apparently type things into here, but I have not had any success in actually typing things in there. So I don't know if that's something that they're going to do later or what. But for right now. As you can see over here, we've got 8 storage areas. That's how many crates that this refinery can take. And since I'm kind of limited to just doing the max amount on things, unless I do this, does that work? That doesn't work. No, that's how I can retrieve stuff again if I want it to, which I don't want to do. Let's get out of that. All right, so I'm just going to say make all the hydrogen you can make because we're going to need all the hydrogen we can get, and then the next shipment I will do. All the oxygen I can make, even though I don't really need that much oxygen. And then over here, I'm going to do something very similar. You see I've got the iron ore and the copper ore in here. This will make iron ingots and copper ingots, which we need for the actual refinery process. So I'll hit that and hit process there, and I think can I do both? No, I can't do more than one at a time. All right, that's fine. And basically you have to sit here and wait for all the crates to get done and back into my inventory. And let's see, what do we got? So that's almost done actually. And we've got almost down to the end of that. And then I will select the copper. There we go. And hit process. Again, love the seamless UI here for the computer screens and whatnot. That's kind of the biggest complaint I have with space engineers and whatnot, is that, I gotta stop saying whatnot. The big problem I have with space engineers is that it's the UI, it really feels clunky to me. And, you know, I could be just alone in that assessment, but it does feel pretty clunky, whereas this one feels far more simple and more like what I'm expecting from things like a Minecraft alike. Now where is the door? I seem to have misplaced the door. Oh, this, by the way, over here, I was getting confused and thinking that this was the vault. No, this is the this is the disposal. So if you had crates in your inventory that you didn't want anymore, you could drop them in here, and it will launch them out into space, and they will be forever lost to you and everyone. All right, here we go. We'll come through here, and I'll drop these off in the vault, like I said, because I'm going to need that in order to build the various things that we can build. All this stuff must exist in the vault, although the hydrogen doesn't necessarily have to exist in there. I could have kept that, but I want to clean my inventory right now, so I have all the things that I need. Plus, if the station needs to grab some hydrogen to keep the power flowing, it will be able to grab it from my stuff that I just put in the vault there. Alright, and grab all these. And as you can see, this is where it's the multiplayer stuff starts to shine, right? Because as you could, if I was playing multiplayer, I would have probably somebody would be in here just doing refinery, just constantly refining stuff, and then putting it over, or I'm sorry, extracting stuff, and then putting it over into the refinery, or putting it onto these cargo pads over here and transporting them over to the refinery, and then somebody would be in the refinery just working those machines, and then somebody else would probably be up at the build terminal, actually sitting in the ship editor making stuff. You know, it's I like how everybody could have a job if they wanted to, and not step on each other's toes. I want to refine some more of that. I also want to refine some more iron and copper here, although I think I will focus on iron for the moment, because I need more of that than I need the copper. And while that is refining, we will run along here. As I said, this is where you can see it would be very helpful to have multiple people doing this instead of having to run. Otherwise, you will drive yourself nuts running back and forth as I am doing right now. There we go. Let's get this all situated, and then we'll come over here. Obviously, all the keys are what you would expect. Shift is to run, spacebar is to jump, and mouse is to look. Left click does the actions. Right click, I don't think has any purpose right now. And then E, obviously, to pick things up and to activate stuff. Right click, the only purpose right click has is in the editor right now to delete things that you've put down. And we'll get into the editor in a moment. So we'll grab all this, and then we'll grab the other stuff from the other side. And then hopefully I'll be able to, hopefully this will be enough to finally build that ship, but we'll have to see. I forget exactly how much it takes. I know it takes a lot of copper, and I don't know if I've had a lot of copper in here. So I may end up cutting at some point just to get up to where we need to be. But I really wanted to show you what it looks like when you first start, rather than jumping into a world that I've already been doing stuff in. We'll jump into a world I've already been doing stuff in a little bit later, because I do have some stuff I want to show off. Some more, I guess, slightly more advanced things. Alright, we'll come through here, go into the vault area. We'll drop this stuff off and just do that. And one more, and then what does that give us? We've got 32 iron and 1109 copper. We've got enough copper, I think, because I think it takes 1,000. We don't have enough iron, I don't think, yet. But I do have some things that have been refined up here that I can just throw in there. Also, I want to grab some, well, I have some of this, which is good. That's what I was going to say. I wanted to grab some oxygen. So we'll have this refined up into oxygen. And we'll grab all these things, which I think will be enough. Well, yeah, is it, you're going to give me stuff? There we go. Okay, I don't have enough inventory room. All right. Let me go do that. And I might as well just have this do another round of iron just in case I need it. I don't think I do, but I just want to do it anyway. It'll be there just waiting for me if I need it. Alright, and away we go into here. And we'll hold this. Alright, and then we'll come up here. Let's do the oxygen first and get rid of that out of the inventory here. And then I'll free up 2 spaces and I can put the rest of my inventory in there. That's 1 space freed up, and then hopefully another one soon here. It's making all kinds of oxygen. There we go. Should be able to put these 2 in here now. Yep, there we go. And we'll pick these up. As you can see, these are the oxygen ones. The water ones were blue. These are these are silver, but they have a different look to them than the iron ones. So the process on that guy, and I'm going to keep the oxygen in my inventory, so it's not used by the station, just in case. I want to use it for my own purposes. And I'll just grab these. And what I'd like to do is, how long is it going to take me to get through all this? It's almost done here. As you can see, nice thing is too, it's actually telling you what time it is on my on my local machine, my local time, in case you were wondering. And almost one more after this, I think, probably. Yeah. Yep. There we go. All right. Very good. And I keep running by the door here. Keep getting turned around. That's the problem. And throw here and put all this in into the. Let's do 3, 4. Okay, there we go. Nice. They're all in there, and then I think that will be enough. So now we can come in here, and we can go up top and look at the. Well, actually, before I look at the shipbuilder, well, you know what? Let me look at the shipbuilder real fast and see if I have the right amount of resources. So we come up here, and you can see we got build, we got salvage and design. I can salvage things for parts if you build something by accident or you are done with a particular ship. You can try to salvage as much as you can. The design will take you into the ship designer, which I will show you in a little bit. But right now, I'm just going to go into the build menu. As you can see, I can build a bunch of stuff. The small ship is the one that the developers have designed and packaged with the game. So I'm going to click on that one. I'm going to hit build, and then it'll tell me how much resources I have based on what's in my vault. And as you can see, I need just a little bit more iron and just a little bit more copper. So that's good. That's what I wanted to look at first. So we can do that. I've got some iron ready to go. I just need to have it refined. We do need some copper though. I don't know if I grabbed some copper from this other one or not. That's iron there. How much iron is in this guy? 600? Okay, that's a full one. That'll be enough. Let's grab one with some copper here. I need like 400, right? So that'll do. We'll let that process a bit, and usually processes the copper first. Watch it turn me into a liar right now. Nope, that's copper. Okay. How much do we have in there? 438. Okay, that's good. That'll probably be enough. I'll let that continue. Over here we shall go. And I want to drop these in here as before. Oh, I dropped the oxygen in there. I didn't want to do that. I can pick the oxygen back up though. Let's retrieve and retrieve and retrieve. There we go. And we'll set process on this guy. Should go relatively quickly. And then process on this guy. Should be able to pick these up, and I should be able to put these in the vault, and then we'll have a ship to actually beam over to. Oh, I keep going the wrong way. As I said, everything starts to look the same after a while. Alright, through here to the vault we shall go. And let's see, I need 3, 4 here. This guy. Oh, come on. There you go. Drop crate. Right there. That should be enough now, hopefully. And we should be able to build the small ship that was there. So build, small ship, build. And yep, we've got more than we need. So build that guy. And a little drop in frame rate later, it should have spawned that out there somewhere. I probably won't see it from here though. These windows are high windows. But before we leave this area, the one area I wanted to show you down here is there is a little bit of a lounge here, which also gives you more of an idea of some of the things you can build. Oh, here's the steps. I was like, where did the steps go? And you can see you got like a little lounge area. You can sit here, you kind of look out at the stars. And probably the best, we've got a vending machine, but unfortunately it does not seem to work yet. Hopefully that will work at some point in time. We got like an Easter Island head, and probably the best thing ever, a jukebox. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. Yeah. And some sunflowers if we really wanted them. You can see we're a nice little space station here. I wish you could like sit down on things, but there's not a thing you can do yet. Oh, back in here is the lavatories, the bathrooms. It's very good. They appear to be either sex can use them. It looks like. There you go. All right. So we've lounged around a bit, and we have spawned that starter ship off. So what I want to do, there's two things I want to do. First of all, I want to retrieve that hydrogen that I put in there. There we go, because I'm going to need that. And I want to show you one thing here. If I come over to the cargo, I promise you I would show you the cargo transporter. This is really neat. I really like the way this works. So what I can do now that I've spawned that ship is I can beam cargo over to it. And this is especially useful for filling up the hydrogen area. Now I'm just going to beam one over, and then I'll show you how to fill it up manually as well. But we'll drop that guy in there. And as I come over here, you can see, oh, small ship. It takes 846 power. So I'll click on that. You can see it says room 1 hydrogen tank, room 1 cargo pod. There's a cargo pod there where I can beam stuff onto. Let's beam stuff onto the hydrogen tank first. So I can beam basically this hydrogen fuel directly into the hydrogen tank without having to do it myself. So I'll do that. We'll send this guy. Oh, sometimes it doesn't work on the first attempt for some reason. Some reason it does not want to do that now. It was doing it before, I swear. Oh, there it goes. It gets a little bit picky sometimes, but that's, that's, again, early alpha is early alpha. And then I'm just going to put the, not the hydrogen, but I'm going to put the oxygen down on there. So let's go 1, say oxygen, oxygen, and oxygen. And I'll beam these onto the cargo pod. There. Excellent. Alright, so now it's just a matter of me beaming myself over there. So is this the way? Nope. Like I said, get turned around very easily. Come up here. And yes, we want to go this way to the arrival area where all the teleporters are. Now I could probably use the short-range teleporter, I would think, to this. I don't know if it's close, if the ship spawned close enough for me to use that or not. Yeah, it did. Okay, so we'll use the smaller teleporter. It's got a little. It's only got one teleport pad in it, so we'll hit that. Oh no! Again, not quite working sometimes. There we go. Stand up on the teleporter pad, and here we are. We are in the small ship that we just built with all those resources. And we've got our own little jukebox here as well, so might as well get that started. So now that we're on our ship here, we can look around. First things first, if I hit tab, it brings up my little device manager and stuff here is ship access. So if I look at the ship access, this will tell me if this will allow me to set up access groups so that if other players were to teleport onto my ship, I can lock them down and say, no, you can't do this, can't do that, so on and so forth. But since I'm solo, it doesn't matter. Device manager tells me what the power of my grip is right now. Right now it's all charged up, so I'm not too worried about that. Ship stats is the more important thing. You can see in here, the life support is going down because there is no oxygen for the life support. So we want to make sure that we go rectify that very shortly before we suffocate. And then our hydrogen reserves tells us how much power we have in reserve or ready to go, how much hydrogen we have to fuel the ship, and our total cargo capacity. And then advanced stats gives me a little graph, which is kind of neat, but it's not entirely accurate right now. So before we suffocate to death, let's go find the engineering room, which I believe is in here, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, here it is. You can see here's the cargo pod that we beamed all that oxygen onto. And since I'm holding some hydrogen here, let's put the hydrogen that I have into the hydrogen tank directly. So E, and there we go. That's now in the hydrogen tank. And we'll pick up this oxygen. Actually, let's pick up the larger oxygen. Yeah, that one was only partially full. And right here is our life support system. And all I gotta do is drop the oxygen on there and hit the button. And there we go. Now we should be producing oxygen. You'll also see that there's some carbon here too. So as we breathe, obviously there's carbon scrubbers in the ship. So they're taking all the carbon dioxide that we breathe, they're making actual carbon out of it. And this will start to fill up as that happens. And then you can hit this button and that will drop down and give you a box of carbon that you can use, I assume, for some other purposes. I don't know what, but I haven't figured that one out yet. I assume it could be used as a building material. And if we come over here, I believe this is just a lounge back here, right? Oh, this is the little captain's quarters. We have like a power supply something here. I forget what this is actually. It has a name, but I don't remember. It's only in the editor that you can see the name. All right, so that's the lower level. You can see it's a pretty cramped but usable ship. Here's a teleporter where we came in here. We got another little lounge right there. And up front, we have, actually this opens. You can come in here and chill. Up front, we have the pilot's seat. And I can sit down in it, if it'll let me. There we go, pilot. And now I'm piloting the ship. I can see what the current status of the engines is. If I hold down the mouse button, I can move. You can see we can move the ship around here. It's a pretty agile ship, all things considered. So we'll go out of that. And then what you can do is if you hit WASD, the W key will make you go forward, which you'll see if I hit tab. Oops, that's not what I want to do. Let's come out of this for a second. All right, so we're moving forward here. So if I hit tab here, you'll see under ship stats, we're using power. We're using hydrogen right now because of all the power that's being used by the engines. So we'll jump back in the pilot seat here. Now what I can do is I can hit this little key here, and this will put me on the outside of the ship so I can see what's going on. And obviously you can use W and D for your thrusters to move left or right. And then you can also hit tab, and you're now in free flight, which means wherever you move your mouse cursor is where the ship shall try to match. So I can head out to some asteroid fields. Unfortunately, there's no asteroid mining materials or asteroid extractor stuff on here, so I can't extract any of the asteroid fields. This is more of just a little ship to go flying around in and just having some fun with. And then X will kill the engines, as you can see. We're now slowing down, so we'll come out of this view. Let's hit tab. We'll come out of this view, and the engine should be killed now. And I'm probably too far away to use a teleporter now, I would imagine, right? Yeah, I can't. This short-range teleporter is now out of range of the mining station. So you're basically, at this point, I have to turn around and go back. to get back into range, or as the case may be, I can also just respawn. And this is very useful. If I hit escape here, it's very useful to be able to respawn, because you will find yourself getting stranded and then not being able to go anywhere. So that shows you the basics of the respawn on the starter station and all that stuff. So let's do that. But again, that shows you the basics of like the mining and the resource gathering and then building a ship and so on and so forth. What I'm going to show you now is the ship editor, and then I'm going to show you a ship that I have built off camera, just to give you a better view of things. So let's go, since we're back on the starter station, let's go over to the mining station again, and we'll say, yeah, I want to go there, and just teleport me, please. I could actually, yeah, I could show it from here too, I guess. It doesn't really matter. I forgot, there is one in the starter station as well, but this one is the one I know of the location of right away. So we'll come in here, and we'll go through the other section. Plus, we'll get to hear a little bit of the music. Although once I jump into the editor, you'll only hear little beats here and there, not the entire song. Alright, so here we are. We'll just say design, and then this pops me into the ship design view. And it's pretty simple once you get the hang of it. The hardest part of this right now is that the tutorial, there's a tutorial video out there that's pretty good, but there's a lot of concepts you sort of have to get under your head first, into your head first, before it starts to make sense. So first things first, we need to start out with floors. This arrow here indicates what the front of your ship is going to be. So you don't want to make the front of your ship up here, because it's going to travel backwards when you put the engines on it. It's just trust me on that one. So you want your front of your ship up here. So we'll start putting floors down, right? And as you can see, it's just like Minecraft, in that you don't have to futz around too much. I guess the thing I really like about this is that you could build this without any resources. All right, you can just sit here in the ship editor. Somebody could be building this before any of the resources are mined or ready to go, and just go to town, build whatever you want. You've got access to all of the parts that they have right now, except for the admin parts, like I've said before, like the vault and things like that, and the quantum power source, or whatever it is. And then, you know, like I said, somebody could be in here doing this while others are on the station doing their own thing. It's really nice. I like this in that it's, even though there's some grindiness with getting the resources, it's not grindy when you're trying to build something. That's always the thing that's always drove me nuts about Minecraft and stuff, is that I have in my head an image of what I want to do, and I start building it, and then I'm like, oh, I'm out, I don't have this resource I need. And then I go try to find that resource, and then when I come back, I forget what I was going to do, and it makes it even more grindy to build stuff than it really needs to be. This I like because I can just sit here and I can just focus and I can just do what I want to do. And up in the top here it says what the weight is going to be. The weight determines how many engines you're going to need to overcome the forces, so that you can actually drive the ship and all that stuff. And then how much resources you're going to need. Right now this is just 2K iron, but then it'll also say copper and silicon. You got to be careful about the silicon. There's no silicon that spawns around, there's no silicon asteroids that spawn around the starter or the mining station. So you're going to have to go retrieve them yourself, which means you're going to have to build a ship that doesn't require silicon in order to do it. So you got to make sure you don't get into the chicken and egg scenario there. Now the thing I was struggling with in the live stream that I later figured out is that this game is based entirely on rooms. Everything is, the room is the most important thing. Right now you can see we're at room 0, and I can rename this anything I want. But when you want to do like complicated things, like if I go up a level here, right, and I start building, this is all still part of the same room, and you can see it has taken the floor out, right? All this is doing is making a larger ceiling at this point. And unfortunately, not having a shift drag stuff is kind of a pain. You have to click everything individually, but it's not that bad, but it's still still be nice to do that. So now I've created a room that's basically two high and one floor, essentially. And so you got to keep that in mind. And then if I want to make another room, the best way to do it, you can hit new room over here. But the best way to do it that I've seen that the devs were doing is you just grab a door, right? Because I was having problems in the live stream where I was like trying to put doors and stuff, and it's like, no, you can't put a door there because it's the doors have to connect rooms, and that's why I was having problems. But if you put a door down, as you can see, it tells you what it's going to cost, like 100 iron and 10 copper for this door, right? You put a door down here, then it will automatically create a new room for you. And you can see that resource now popped up there. I need 10 copper for that door. And as it says here in a tooltip, you can press space, and now I'm editing this room. So if I hit floors again, I can make more floors over here, as you can see. And then it gets a little bit more complicated. You've got different systems you can put down. You've got shield capacitor. When you go to save, as I'll demonstrate here, it'll warn you about things that you don't have. So I'll call this just dummy right now, and I'll hit save. And you say, oh, ship needs a teleporter or it will be inaccessible. And then also, ship needs a life support system or there'll be no air to breathe. And also, room 0 has no ventilation. There will be no breathable air in this room. So all those things to keep in mind. It'll save it, obviously, but it just lets you know every time you save that you don't have all the basic essentials that you need in order to survive in that room. Now there is, as you can see, graphical glitches here where it still thinks I'm putting doors down, even though I'm over into the floor section again. And it is a little bit clunky to maneuver. I have not figured out how to actually rotate the view. I've tried numerous things and nothing seems to work as far as rotating the view around. I assume it has something to do, maybe it's tied to like a middle mouse click, but unfortunately middle mouse click never works for me at all in any DirectX or OpenGL game or anything on the Windows. It just doesn't. I don't know why. So it's having that remapped, be able to be remapped to something else would be very, very nice, or at least give me like Q and E to spin around and see the different views. I did notice some video of someone playing around in this where they were spinning around and doing various stuff, and so I know that there's a way to do it. I just don't know how exactly to do it. And you know, all these other stuff, walls, you got life support. Here's your life support systems you got to put down. Lights. The lights are very important. What you can do is, right now we're in just normal global illumination view. If I hit L, it'll show me what it's going to look like from lights perspective. So if I put some lights down in here, you'll see it'll start to illuminate and kind of give me an idea of how much illumination I'm going to have in the room. Obviously, you want to put some lights down, or else it's going to be completely pitch black, and you're not going to be able to see where you're going. There is a limitation to the editor right now. If I look at the ceiling here, and I put some ceiling lights in, they don't update on the editor. So you won't know what the lighting is going to be like in there until you actually play it in the game. Now, thankfully, you can fire up a creative mode. You can have a creative mode world that you can pop into, and you can just spawn the stuff in without having to pay the cost. And I'm going to show you that in a little bit. But yeah, as you can see, you can put ceilings in, walls. You can paint stuff different colors. There's different color palettes here. So if I paint, well, you can't really see the different color there. But if I hold down Shift, it'll make the whole floor that. If I hold down Shift, it'll make all the walls the wall color, and so on and so forth. And it's pretty slick. There's still a lot of work to be done on this, because it is still a little bit clunky in places, but it's working out pretty good from what I've been working on here. So you got furniture here. I can put like a captain's chair down if I want to. The nice thing about the furniture, and this is what kind of blew my mind a little bit, and it blew my mind in a good way. I put that captain's chair down there. If I want to put a light in the same place, I can put a light in the same place. And the arrow keys actually spin the light around to the various corners. So I can put a light there and have it occupying the same space as the captain's chair, although it'll show up correctly in the world. It's really cool. I'll show you the thing that I've built and how I was able to get all these things in and around here. But yeah, that's that. There's also a connection tool This connection tool is for the power, which I haven't put any power on here yet. Let's go to the exterior view. Let's turn the lighting off so you can see the exterior of it. As you can see, it auto-generates an exterior for you based on the interior spaces that you've done. And it's pretty damn ugly in its current form, in its default form. But you can go through with the various conic shapes and try to smooth it out a little bit and make it look a little bit more like an actual livable ship and not something that was generated. So, and there's some really nice things you can do with it. There's all kinds of different tiles you can put on here. Obviously, you can put engines on it, which is very, very important. It's very hard to put engines on when you can't rotate the view like me right now. But if I rotate this engine around, you can see I can put the engine wherever I want to, and it'll just be linked. You don't have to worry about the power for it. But this connection tool is for power, but it has to do with power groups. So if I go power here and I say solar panel, and I think this is the right one, right? Yeah. There's two different ones. This one's kind of a weird, like, triangular one, and this one's a more straight one. You can combine all these things to make really nice stuff. But if I put a couple solar panels down, right, and they're a little bit finicky, a little bit. These will generate just a little bit of power, not a whole lot, not enough to run your ship by any stretch of the imagination, but they'll generate enough that you can run the doors and stuff. The doors all need access to power, which is very important when you first get onto your ship and you haven't put any power. If you haven't beamed any hydrogen into the hydrogen storage tanks, if you forget, and you beam onto your ship, you will not be able to A, beam back off your ship, and B, open any of the doors because they won't have any power. But this little power thing here, you can see there's a default group, which all these things belong to initially. And then I can create an additional group. And this one, as you can see, nothing belongs to this group. But then I can just say, all these guys belong to this group, and they power this door. And then you could, if you had enough here, I imagine you could possibly power a teleporter, although the teleporters, even the short-range ones, take like 500 power usually. So that's a bit of a stretch just for these guys. These guys will only generate, as you can see, 8 power, and there's already like a peak consumption as 1 on there is what it's calculating as. So as you can see, and there's all kinds of exclude stuff and all those things as you're selecting things around there. And then you'll have your main power, which will be your default group usually, and that'll be all the stuff. And then as you can see, these things automatically unregistered themselves from the default group. So they're no longer powered by the core. Once I put the core down, if I put one in here, and all that stuff. And then we also have all the buttons here for the lighting mode and border scrolling and resetting the camera position, so on and so forth. All right, and then this prop edit mode, like I showed earlier, where you can put windows down. Windows are actually quite nice. These are internal windows. There's external windows, which are under the, and this is where it gets a little bit confusing. These are internal things, right? So like, you know, all those glass panes that I was showing you earlier? Well, this is where you get those from. But then there's the exterior windows, which are under here, under the, what menu is this? I guess this is the systems menu, which is, where is that at? So you got cockpits, which you need, obviously, a cockpit to be able to fly the ship. Right there, which it is a little, as I said, a little bit finicky. There you go, there's a cockpit. And weapons, I don't know. All they have is a weapons, it says turret here, but I don't know if that's, I assume that there's going to be like space battles and stuff at some point in time, but it's still too early to tell. And I'm not sure if it's going to be ship-on-ship combat or if it's going to be more of a hand-to-hand where you beam onto somebody else's ship and you have pistols that you fire off and try to steal stuff and all that stuff. I can see that going in many different directions. I'll give some examples of things that I think would be really cool if this game did it and why I'm so excited about it in a little while. But as you can see, walls, I think it's not walls, is it? It's, I thought for sure there were windows somewhere under here. Yeah, here we go. Windows. And you can see here's an exterior window. Like so. And that will stick out of the ship a little bit and you'll be able to walk in there and see the outside and so on and so forth. And that's pretty much the editor. You can make all kinds of nice, cool little stuff in here, and then you can see how much it's going to cost you. Obviously, you want to balance how much it's going to cost you. If it's going to be something, you know, a starter kit that you're doing in survival, you're going to want to do the least amount of resources that you can do so that you can go get more resources, and then from there, you'll be able to upgrade yourself slowly but surely. All right, so that is that. Let's come back to the main menu, which brings us back in here. All right, and let's go back to the full main menu of the game. So exit to menu, confirm. All right, so now I'm going to show you one that I've already built. So let's go under Play Interstellar Rift. Let's go to Solo Game, and we'll go to Test 3, which I believe is in Creative Mode. Or is it Test 3 or is it Test... It doesn't really tell me right now. I think Test 3 is in Creative Mode. So we'll load the galaxy. And after a moment... Yes, this is the one. So this is in creative mode, which means I can pretty much spawn anything in that I want. Any ships that I want that I've already prefabbed, I can spawn in without paying the resource cost, which is very cool because I want to show you the ship that I've come up with. And I've actually positioned myself out here. This is the starter station, so I've actually flown from the mining station, which is way out there, out to here in my ship, which is right there. It's parked right up there. This is why I picked this spot, so you can see the ugly ship that I built, but it is quite functional, as we will see in a moment. So let's head over to the teleporter. Somewhere here. I had a hell of a time just finding this area up top here. This is this again in the starter station where you spawn initially, and I couldn't. I had trouble. There's also, this will also show off the elevators that you can do. As you can see, you go on a little elevator ride here. It's a little bit slow, but it's functional right now, and it's you know, it's not as fast as taking the stairs, but it works. Let's jump out of the elevator. There we go, and you can see that's another disposal unit. Come into here, and I believe there is the teleporter is down there. Yep, there it is. Where are the steps down? I always forget. Let's just jump down there. Screw it. Alright, so we will beam over to the USS Minor Problem, which is the ship that I have built off camera, and I'll give you a nice little tour of the place. All right, and here is the main hall, and here's where I left the jukebox running. Now here's where and I've been testing out all kinds of the different color schemes and whatnot. So the ship it's going to be pretty damn ugly. You're going to see as I switch between hallways here, the color schemes shift pretty dramatically. But I did that mostly because it's the one thing I would love for the ship to have is signs above the doors. And each one of these rooms I have actually named. I have like named this the arrival hall or the main hall, and I've named this over here the observation hall, and so on and so forth. And it would be really nice if those showed up, and it looks like there's a space for them, but it would be really nice if all those words showed up in there, so that you could see where you're going and automatically, and it's whatever you typed in for the particular room. Oh, this is the extractor room. See, I'm already confused. This is the extractor room. You can see I've really packed it in here because I didn't know how big things were going to be. But it's functional. There's a cargo teleporter. Over here, I kind of shoved this in the corner, not realizing that it was going to be like first of all, there's no lighting over here, and second of all the crates go over in that little corner there, so it's a little bit difficult to maneuver around. But otherwise, it is functional. And we'll come through here again, and you can see I've been going through all the lighting schemes and whatnot. Got a new jukebox is still playing very well. I've got a nice little forward observation dome here. You can see this is part of my ship still, and then there's the station that we were just on, and that's the window we were just looking out of. And of course I've got all kinds of floor fans. These are to keep the oxygen moving. We've got a vent around here somewhere. Oh, there's the oxygen vent right there. You gotta have a vent in pretty much every room, or else you're gonna suffocate when you walk into that room. What are we doing with power anyway? Now that I think about it, ship stats. We still got a good reserve, and our life support is okay right now. That's good. All right, I used quite a bit of my reserves to get over here. This should be the observation area, hopefully, if I remember correctly. We'll see in a moment. Yeah, I didn't do the lighting too well in here either. But this is a little observation deck that I came up with. And again, very, very basic stuff. Not, it's not going to blow anyone's socks off. But the fact that I just dicked around in this for about an hour and was able to come up with this kind of thing, whereas if I sat in like Minecraft, or if I sat in Space Engineers, I could sit there for 6 hours and not even come up with anything even close to this, although I did forget to put ceilings in. It has me really, really excited. I mean, really excited. The controls in this are actually really nice, and that's what I enjoy about it the most right now. Is that you're pretty much guaranteed to be able to get whatever vision that you want for your ship in place. I also forgot a railing here. Now, is this the... Okay, this is the captain's... This is the command deck, I think. Yeah. Here's the command deck. I've got a little area here. I forgot to put... I wanted to put a table down. I forgot to. But we got our pilot seat up here, which I used to pilot us over to where we're at. And it's actually a lot better lit than the other one. And then here's my ready room. Captain's ready room. I've got my nice little pool table / desk here. It looks like a pool table. Pretty large there. And here's the jukebox that you kept hearing. And actually, this one's not on, is it? Oh yeah, they're both linked together. Okay. And I've got a bedroom in my bed in my ready room, because you gotta welcome those alien visitors. You know what I mean? And here's what I was talking about, is about having multiple things in one tile. This Easter Island head and that light back there. I was able to put both of these in the same tile, and it looks awesome. It's very cool. I'm very glad I can do that. All right. We've looked at that. Let's look at the engineering section, which is back here. Usually engineering sections are at the back of the ship, but you can put them wherever you want. You can see I've got a ton of hydrogen tanks because I just spam the hell out of them. We've got more capacity than we could ever possibly need, I would say. But since this is a mining ship, it is good to have that much capacity, because you do have to travel pretty far to get to the different asteroid fields. Over here I just got a regular command station. This is a computer core, and I think this computer core is what was causing me to need silicon for this, which is why I couldn't build this in survival. I'd have to build something else because there's no silicon around the starter area. It's in one of the other asteroid belts. Over here is our oxygen generator. You can see we've got plenty of oxygen left, and we've already built up about 43 units of carbon. So excellent. That's all this in here. Again, the lighting, having trouble with lighting all the time, but it's working out for the most part. All right, and speaking of lighting, speak of the devil, a little caution. If you are watching this video in a darkened room, or otherwise are close to the monitor, you may want to shield your eyes for a moment, because I'm about to walk into the piece de resistance of this ship, which is the cargo hold. Hold on to your tights. Yeah, it's a little bright. It's a little bright. It's kind of like looking at the surface of the sun. I did the thing that the developers said in their video you're not supposed to do, and I shift clicked when I put the lights down, and in so doing, I made all the walls lights and all the ceiling lights, and it's pretty bright. It's pretty damn bright. And they even cautioned you against doing that. But the reason I did that, here's all my iron supplies and whatnot that I've got all kinds of cargo pads all along here. It's a nice large cargo bay. But the reason I did that is because down here at this level, and this is 3 levels, right? You got this level, that level, and then the top level where the catwalk is. This level, even with all the ceiling lighting, was not getting lit. It was just very, very dark. You couldn't even see any of these cargo pods or anything like that. So I put some lights around here, but even those didn't help. So that's why I shift-clicked on the walls and made the horrible mistake of doing that, because it made every layer of walls in the room a light, and it is quite bright. It's burning my retinas just a bit, just a tiny bit. But I was warned, and I did not heed that warning. You see, I got railings all along here, so it's nice safety rails. You can't fall off or anything like that. And in particular, what's kind of cool, and I'm sorry, it hurts. I know it hurts. It hurts me right now. What's really cool is these stairs take up this full thing right here is one block in the editor, and these stairs take up a portion of that block, and then they have railings that you have to find them though. There's different kinds of different railings, like half ones and quarter ones, but you can find the half ones, and that just fit right in there perfectly. It's really cool, really neat. I like what I see so far, and even though it's very, very early and very, very basic at the moment, there's not a whole lot to do in the game yet. And that brings me, let's go up to the ready room. That brings me to my thoughts on the game right now. I am really excited by what I see in the game. I'm really excited because it doesn't, even though you have to do a lot of running back and forth for resources, it doesn't feel as grindy, because I can sit here and build these nice ginormous ships, and I know what I'm going for, and then the resources are just sort of a thing that you just have to do, right? It's not, grind some resources, then go and plop them down and see if they look right, and then if they don't look right, then you gotta throw all those away, and then you gotta go find something else. It's you can make something that looks right first, spawn it in creative here, make sure it looks, it's nice and roomy and what you're looking for, and then I wish I could sit in the captain's chair, and then you're good to go, and then just do the grindiness. I think from what they've said on their forums and whatnot, that there's going to be some sort of combat. Obviously, there's some weapon systems, but I don't think they actually work. There's a turret. I don't know that it's even usable yet in the game. So that's cool. The other thing is there's shields in the game, and I have not tried out the shield generator yet, so I have no idea what that does. But because you could beam hydrogen onto a ship, I don't know if you can beam hydrogen back off of a ship, but that could be kind of interesting, right? Like if the shields are up, if you can't beam in and off a ship, that would be really cool. But if your shields were down and somebody came by and beamed your fuel right off your ship, that might be an interesting little hazard. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if you can do it that way or not, or if it's just a teleport to destination as part of off. But it's still an interesting little thing. Plus, the fact that you can do that, the fact that you can teleport fuel directly onto your ship, means that you could build like a small station that was just a refueling station that you could just beam over there, beam stuff off of the cargo pods directly into your fuel, beam back, and then you're good to go. So that's I like all of that. I like all this stuff. I like where they're going with here. Some of the brass tacks though, it's $15 US right now to get into the early access for this game on Steam. That's a bit pricey. That's a bit pricey for the lack of content that there is actually in the game. And if you are not one to spend money without seeing some sort of return on your time investment, you're going to want to wait. You're going to want to wait quite a while, I'd say, because they're still very, very early. Right now, you can get at best. I mean, it is a sandbox game, so you have to find your own play. Find your own stuff to play with. But right now, you might get an hour out of it, and $15 for an hour of enjoyment is a little bit steep. So if you're not like me and you don't have a whole lot of disposable income, and not that I have disposable income, but if you're not willing to try something and put $15 down on something that doesn't give you 8 hours of enjoyment or something like that, then you're gonna want to wait. You're gonna want to wait for that. I have not played any of the multiplayer yet. I don't know, so I don't know what the community is like on there yet, but I do see a lot of people out on the multiplayer servers doing their thing. So I assume that there's some cool little creations out there. And I'm really excited for it. I'm more excited for this than I am for Space Engineers and Pulsar Lost Colony and various other games of this very similar to this, because this one I feel like has the right ideas and has more potential. I'd say the UI is not so broken like Space Engineers, and it's taking the basic concepts of the sandbox games, and it's made a little twist on them. It said, like, look, rather than gather resources then build, why don't you just build first, figure out what you want, see how many resources you need, then you know how much time you got to grind on the resources. Or somebody can be building while somebody else is grinding the resources out and refining them, or somebody else can be extracting the resources while someone else is refining them, while someone else is doing that. It's, you know, on a multiplayer server, if you play this in multiplayer, I can see this being a whole lot of fun. Single player is going to be grindy because you're going to have to run back and forth all the time, unless you build a ship like this where everything is kind of close together and you don't have to run back and forth everywhere you go. But like I said, more excited about this than I have been about any of the other games in this particular genre for a long time. So I really can't wait to see what becomes of it. And that has been my look at Interstellar Rift. Probably a little bit of a wordy look, but there is a lot to cover here, even though it's still very early. And it's, if nothing else, it's something to keep your eye on as we look at the sort of smiley face out there. It's something to keep your eye on, if nothing else, and keep popping into it. Maybe, you know, throw it on your wish list or something like that, and just get some updates on it. Follow it on Steam. Do those things, and I think this might turn out to be something really awesome. So this has been Interstellar Rift by Split Pixel. It is on Steam Early Access. It is $15 US to get into Steam Early Access as it stands right now. Very, very early alpha. And that has been my look at it. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and I will see you next time.